Alright, so it's time to confess because a few days ago I actually made my girlfriend cry while on a walk. But not in a bad way. Let me explain. So we were out on our evening walk and it was raining outside, but it wasn't the heavy kind of rain. It was more like a drizzle that doesn't even count as rain. Basically just enough to make everything look, gray or moody. And the moment we stepped outside and she realized that it was actually raining, she was like, "Oh no, it's raining." And then my first instinct, the words that came actually out of my mouth were like, "Oh, yeah, you're right, damn it, it is raining." And then in the next second, something kind of shifted, and I was like, "But you know what? We can actually still do our walk without even having umbrellas." And honestly, some people would love to be healthy enough to just go for a rain walk like this. So, you know what? I feel lucky. Life's good, and I'm happy to be here doing this with you right now. And that was actually the thing that made her cry. And I was thinking about that moment every single day ever since, because I wasn't necessarily expecting for me to say that. And I definitely wasn't expecting to mean it. So today I want to talk about something I've been figuring out lately: how to actually be happy. And I don't mean someday, I mean right now, in the middle of all the work I still have to do. Hey there, if you're new here, I'm Alex, and this is me documenting my journey of becoming the person I keep telling myself I'll be. I am 4 months in, still doing the work, still putting in the work, and I realize that sometimes this journey teaches you things that you weren't even looking for. So here's the thing, because I've been doing this, like I said, for 4 months now. Every Monday, a new video. We have the gym, the walks, the food, and everything in between. And I mean, don't get me wrong, because I still have a long way to go. I mean, I'm not even close to where I want to be. But that moment on the walk, that actually stuck with me, because in that moment I realized I am actually happy right now, today. And that was actually unexpected for me, because it wasn't supposed to happen, because of the way I see things, because of the way I am programmed, let's say. Essentially, the whole deal was lose the weight, become the person, and then be happy. The way I see it, that's how it's supposed to work. That's, what the contract says. Except that's not how it's actually working, because look at me, I am already somehow happy right now, with still a ton of work ahead of me. And I needed to understand why. So I've been replaying my walk for the past, 24 to 48 hours. And I wanted to kind of understand that mindset shift that came in that exact moment. Because the default was, complaint. Yeah, shit, it's raining outside. But then the reframe, like, yeah, still, we can still do this. Some people would be privileged to have this, opportunity to do so. That wasn't automatic. That was something different, something else. And I think that what happened is I kind of caught myself in that sort of negative mindset that I used to have, like basically all this time before, because that was essentially my default in the past. And right in that second, I wanted to change that. I chose to change that. And I think that the reason my girlfriend cried actually was that I said, the ordinary thing out loud, that I'm lucky, that we are lucky, and that we can still find beauty and, a reason to live, a reason to be happy in this ordinary Thursday. And here's what's actually wild to me, because that walk wasn't anything special. We do that as part of our putting in the steps every single day. It was the same street, the same route that I did probably over 100 times. But this time around, I just, had a moment that I wanted to notice it even more than the usual. And this actually kind of connects to something that's been happening in the gym for kind of a long time now, that I wasn't able to, articulate until now. And quick context, I've been going to the gym for over 3 years now. And, over time, I kind of progressed to being able to lift quite a decent weight. I mean, I'm now no elite, gym goer or a weightlifter, but I can move some decent weight. And yet still many times I'm in there, I see, a guy, a random guy, one of the guys that's in there, that's bigger than me, that's leaner than me, that's in much better shape than I am. And actually, in those moments, I'm catching my brain doing its thing and thinking, oh man, I wish I looked like that guy. But a few weeks ago, I'm on the chest press machine, 70 kilos on each side. And there's this one guy next to me, and he lets out one of those sighs, like kind of a wow moment for him. And he kind of comes over to me and says, oh man, I wish that someday I can lift as much as you do. And that was kind of a, brain reset to some degree, kind of a wake up to reality moment for me. Because in that exact moment, I was literally admiring somebody else, another guy. And this guy was actually admiring me. We were both doing the exact same thing. Just, basically just two machines apart at the exact same time. And that made me realize that everyone's the goalpost of someone just behind them, and we're all too busy looking ahead to even notice. Now, I know what this is starting to sound like, be grateful for what you already have. Everyone says that. I feel like that's one of the most recycled lines on the whole internet. But here's the annoying part. It's true. It is true. It's a cliche right now for a reason, for a good reason. Even all the people at the top of this space keep saying that, and it's because it just works. There's no other way around it. But I feel like nobody really tells you what it actually looks like in practice. Because be grateful on a Wednesday morning staring at your ceiling, it's nothing, it's empty, it's homework. What it actually looks like is, you're on a walk, it's raining outside, and instead of defaulting to the complaint, you actually just notice the walk. And then you're just grateful in that moment that you have all the abilities to do that, to be there, to live in that exact moment. And basically that's it. That's the whole thing. It's not a mantra. It's like, a 1 second, maybe 2 seconds catch in the moment. And that's the thing. It only works in the moment on something specific that you already have. So here's where I landed. Happiness isn't on the other side of the weight loss, or the career milestone, or the version of me I'm trying to become, the version of me I'm imagining myself I'll be one day. Happiness is actually happening right now. It's right here. It's a choice. I've just always been too busy chasing the next thing to stop and notice what's already in front of me. However, and this is the part I want to be crystal clear about, this doesn't mean that I'm done. I'm still going, still working, still losing the weight. I'm still gonna make these videos, and I'm still gonna try to be someone better, by my own standards. The difference is I'm not doing this because I feel miserable and trying to, fix myself. I'm actually doing it because getting better is worth doing on its own. I know I can do more, so, I want to see my full potential. Happy, but still hungry. That's what I'm trying to be. And I said this earlier, but I think happiness is a choice in one very specific way. Not just, decide to feel good. That's bullshit. It's basically what you choose to pay attention to in any given moment. That is a choice anyone can make. And it might actually be one of those choices that actually really fucking matter. Because the goalpost will move without you even noticing most of the time. But maybe if you look back, you can see one that's actually right here. You are allowed to be happy and continue on your journey. And that's what I figured out this week on a walk with my girlfriend in the rain in about 1 or 2 seconds. Turns out sometimes that's all it takes. But right now it's back to you. Have you ever had a moment like this where, in 1 second or a fraction of a second, you realize that you were actually happy? Or is it just me that, at least in the past, wasn't able to notice these things? Drop it in the comments and let me know. And if you want to follow this whole journey that I'm on, the self-improvement, the weight, and everything in between, hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps. I'm gonna be here every single Monday, whether it's gonna be messy or not, with no filter and no bullshit. And talking about the ups and downs, the good and the bad, click here if you wanna see how I actually messed up last week. But always remember, it's not that serious.